In this video, I'll do a deep dive on Adobe Firefly services with a big focus on APIs. Firefly services includes Firefly APIs, Lightroom APIs, Photoshop APIs, InDesign APIs, content tagging APIs, and more. With Firefly services, you're not just creating, you're automating, you're scaling your content production, and you're harnessing the latest AI technologies to supercharge your workflows. As part of the One Adobe tutorial, the goal is to build our way through an automated scenario wherein business users can create marketing images at scale using the power of AI. I want you to fully understand each step of the way. So in this exercise, I'll explore the Firefly Services APIs in a manual way using Postman, which is an API client that allows me to connect to Adobe I/O, to Firefly services, and to Photoshop services in a secure way. In this video, you'll learn about the following APIs: the Firefly Generate Images API, Firefly Expand Image API, the Custom Models API, and also the Photoshop Smart Object Replace APIs and the Photoshop Change Text API endpoints. On top of that, you'll also learn how to configure and use pre-signed URLs in the process to create intermediary files that are hosted in a Microsoft Azure storage account. Finally, I'll walk you through Firefly Custom Models as well. Let's start by going through some basic Firefly interactions using the UI on firefly.adobe.com. First of all, let's start exploring Adobe Firefly services. The City Signal design team would like to generate a neon version of the City Signal brand name. They would like to use Adobe Firefly services to help them do that. The first thing that is needed to achieve this is a black and white version of the City Signal brand name. I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator to do that. So I'm just creating a new Illustrator file here with the City Signal brand name. I'll use Adobe Clean font and then I'll also center the image on the canvas. And I'm also exporting the image as a JPEG file. With the file available, let's switch over to the Firefly UI on firefly.adobe.com. I'm now selecting Firefly Image Model 4, and then I'm entering this prompt to generate a brick wall with a neon light lettering. The generated images aren't really useful for my use case yet, but that will change once I provide the image I created in Illustrator before as a composition reference to Firefly. The same prompt now generates images that look more like what the design team actually requested. Let's continue exploring Firefly. I'm going to change the model, in this case to Model 3, and I'll enter the prompt horses in a field. So here we go, 4 images of horses in a field. I'd like to understand what happens behind the scenes now. By opening my browser's developer tools, I can inspect the network requests being sent by this page. To see the requests, I need to submit a new request, and now you can see this Generate Async request available. Under Payload, you can also see all the key value pair combinations that are being sent towards the Firefly API endpoint. In a couple of minutes, you'll see the same fields again when I'll be using Postman to send in manual API requests. But for now, have a look at the seeds, which are random numbers that were generated to hold a specific image's style. By making some changes to the aspect ratio and then also adding an effect to the request, the new Generate Async request has a couple more key value pair combinations. But the rest of the payload is still very much the same, with the same prompt and also the same seeds being used. The output looks slightly different though, but the various image generations are very much in line with each other and allow me to iterate over the output until I like what I see. Let's shift gears now. Instead of using the Firefly user interface, let's use the Firefly API endpoints now. To use the Firefly output as part of automated business scenarios, organizations will always use the API instead of the user interface. In one of the previous exercises, you already created your Adobe I/O projects and you also installed Postman. I will now use that configuration to start interacting with the Firefly APIs. Before I can use the Firefly Services APIs, I need to authenticate against the Adobe I/O endpoint. By clicking Send on the Get Access Token request, I'll receive an access token that will be valid for the next 24 hours. With the access token now being available, I can generate a new image using the APIs. I'll use this text-to-image request to achieve that. The model being used is Firefly Model 3, and you can see the same prompt as before, horses in a field. This API endpoint is an asynchronous endpoint, which means that I'm not immediately receiving the image I requested. Instead, the API endpoint provides a URL which contains the status report. So now I need to send a second request to the URL that was provided so I can view the status report. The status report now provides me with a status that equals succeeded and the new URL that contains the image. By holding the command button and clicking the URL, the image will open in the browser. And here we go, beautiful horses in a field. I will now add the seeds object to the payload. This is similar to what happened when using the Firefly UI on firefly.adobe.com, and by specifying a specific seed number, the generated image will be similar to a previous generation that had the same seed number. The process stays the same. By clicking send on this request, I will receive the URL of the status report, and then I can query the status report in the second request. The status is now succeeded and I can view the generated image. The image is different from before, simply because I specified a specific seed number. So whenever the same seed number is used, new image generations for the same prompt will be similar to this image. Feel free to try it yourself. The seed I used is 142194. Next, let's add an effect to the request. In this case, I'm specifying the Art Deco effect, and as you can see, the image changes slightly once again due to the combination of the seed, the prompt, and the effect. If I now remove the seed but leave the prompt and effect in place, you'll see another variation of the same request. Okay, the next thing I'd like to show you is the ability to expand any image to a higher aspect ratio. The image that was generated before had a 2048 by 2048 dimension. Let's change that to a higher aspect ratio. While doing that, I also need to specify where the original image needs to be placed in the bigger image. So in this case, I'm centering the original image. After clicking send and checking out the status report, the new expanded image now looks like this. And when I compare the before and the after, you can see that Firefly filled the new elements of the image in a contextual way. Let's create a new image of horses in the field again. And then I'll expand the image once again, but instead of centering the original image, let's change the location a little bit. So here's the new image, but now in a different position. Okay, so far we've been using Firefly Image Model 3. Let's change that now to Image Model 4. To use Image Model 4, I need to update a header variable in this request and set it to image4_standard. Everything else stays the same, the prompt is the same, and with Image Model 4 standard I can generate up to 4 images at the same time. Let's do that now. So the status report now shows 4 new images. I'll just open the first one. You can see that the quality of the image is very detailed and lifelike. Image Model 4 also comes with Ultra mode. To use Image Model 4 Ultra, the header variable xModel version needs to be set to Image 4 Ultra. After generating the image, you can see it's even more lifelike with greater detail and complexity. Okay, enough exploration for now. Let's start to deep dive in the City Signal use case. The City Signal design team has agreed to use a specific template going forward for their marketing activities and to allow business users to change specific elements of that template. In the next minutes, I'll walk you through the steps to do that manually, which will involve using a combination of Firefly API endpoints and Photoshop API endpoints. Before we can start using that combination of API endpoints, I need to set up an environment for storage. Storage could happen in various solutions, such as AWS S3 or Dropbox, and I've chosen to use a Microsoft Azure storage account for this exercise, which I need to set up first. So I'm going to create a new storage account in Azure, which I'll then start using in combination with Photoshop API endpoints. Once the Azure storage account is set up, I will also need to create a container in the storage account. Once that's done, I'll also connect my local Azure Storage Explorer application to that newly created storage account and container. Using Azure Storage Explorer is an easy way to view the files we've created, and it makes it also easy to create the pre-signed URLs that I will need to use next. With the Azure storage setup done, I can start using files in Azure in combination with Firefly and Photoshop requests. You'll find a number of sample files in the Experience League tutorial. The first one I'll use is this fireworks image, which I will use as a style reference in combination with an image generation by Firefly. Once the file is uploaded in Azure, I'll need to provide a URL for that image to Firefly, so that Firefly can use this image as a style reference. This image file isn't publicly accessible, so Firefly can't yet access the file. To make it possible for Firefly to access this file, I'll create a shared access signature for it. The URL of the shared access signature has the permissions to read this file included in the URL as a query string parameter. Back in Postman, I'll use this request to provide the style reference to Firefly. The request already has a placeholder in the body of the payload, and I'm now going to paste the copied SAS URL from Azure Storage Explorer here. By clicking Send, I'm once again requesting Firefly to generate a new image that contains horses in the field, but now with a style reference image that is an image of fireworks. And here you go, the new image now looks very different from before, and also very similar to the style reference image I provided. The next step in this learning journey is programmatically uploading images to my Azure Storage account. To be able to write a new file into an Azure Storage account, I need to create a new SAS token at the container level. The previous token I generated was a file-specific token, and this new token now allows me to write any file into the container. With the new folder token available, I'll create a new put request in Postman to upload an image. I'll paste the SAS URL that I copied from Azure Storage Explorer here, and in the body of the request, I will add a new image file that I downloaded from the Experience League tutorial. I then also need to add a file name into the URL, and I need to be very specific about the location there, and this will impact the name of the file in Azure. And lastly, I need to add a new header variable which is required by the Azure SAS API. No other authentication is needed, given that the authentication is included in the SAS token URL already as a query string parameter. And here we go, the new image file is now available in Azure as well. This is how pre-signed URLs work when using Azure Storage accounts. Let's now create new tokens for long-term usage. The tokens we generated before were only valid for 1 day, which doesn't really work well in the context of automation. So now I'll create 2 new tokens that are valid for 1 year, one token that has read permissions and a second token that has write permissions. The process is the same as before, but now I'm setting the expiry date to 1 year from now. I'm also writing down the full SAS URLs in a text file on my computer so that I can reference them later. Back to Postman. I don't want to copy and paste my SAS URLs for every request I'll be sending, so I'll define them as environment variables once, and I will then refer to those variables whenever I need them. These variables will likely change in the future, so by configuring them once as an environment variable, I'll only have to update them also once in the future. I'll create 4 variables in total, one to hold the base URL, a second one to hold the container name, a third one to hold the read token, and a fourth one to hold the write token. This allows for optimal flexibility in the future. To test these changes, I'll now go back to the request I used to generate the images with horses in the field with the fireworks style reference image. I'll replace the hard-coded location of the file by references to the environment variables, and then I'll generate a new image. And as you can see, everything worked fine. Let's continue our journey now. As I said before, the City Signal design team has agreed to use a specific template going forward. This is a template. The template is using specific layer names, which will make it efficient to use this in an automation scenario. I'll start working with the Photoshop API now. To test my connection to Photoshop, I can send this Hello World request. Once successful, I will now upload the Photoshop template to Azure. This is similar to what we did before, but now with a Photoshop file. And let me just verify that the file is successfully created in Azure. And yes, here it is. A couple of seconds ago, I opened the Photoshop file using Photoshop. But in this case, I'd like to open the file programmatically, and to do that, I'll use the getManifest request. The output of this asynchronous request contains a programmatic version of the Photoshop file, and I can now see layer names and metadata of the file, but now in Postman. The first step in my scenario requires me to change the purple background of the Photoshop file by an image generated by Firefly. I'll use the Smart Object Replace API endpoint to do that. Photoshop API requests have a similar well-structured requirement to provide an input file, to specify the changes to be made in options objects, and then to specify a location to drop the output file. This input file is the PSD template that I showed before, so I'll provide the location of that file in Azure. Because I've defined my environment variables with the Azure variables, I can now easily reference them, and I don't need to provide a full hard-coded path anymore. In the options object, you can see that it references a variable as well. This variable was set by the Firefly generate image request that was used for the horses in the field image with the style reference image of fireworks. And the output file also refers to an Azure storage account location. The Photoshop action is a server-side process, and Photoshop will server-side store the generated outputs in the Azure storage account using the file name that's specified here. Let's give it a try. After clicking Send, I'm getting a status report again, as Photoshop API endpoints are also asynchronous. After a couple of seconds, I can see a successful status on the report and the link to the generated output file. By clicking the link, the new Photoshop template will be downloaded, and the new Photoshop template now looks like this. The change background operation was successful now, but I still need to change the text layers in the template. Changing text layers can be done using Photoshop's text endpoint. In the body of this new request, you can see a similar structure as before, with an input file, an options object, and an output file. In the options object, you can see the text layer name and the new text to use. The input file in this request refers to the output file of the previous request, and the output file here points to a new file that needs to be created. After executing the request and downloading the new template file, you can see that the text of Get Fiber Now has been put in the template file. At this point, I've manually executed these API requests, but in the next module, I will automate this whole process thanks to work from Fusion. The last part in this module is focused on Firefly custom models. With Firefly custom models, you can generate image variations that align with your brand using the text-to-image feature. By training these models with your own images, you can generate content that reflects your brand's identity. Transform your style or subjects to explore new ideas, visualize different surroundings, to generate innovative content, and to tailor content to specific segments. To start creating my custom model, I go to firefly.adobe.com and then I go to Custom Models to create my model. My model will be a subject model, which means that I'll provide assets about a specific object to get Firefly to train a model on that specific object, so it can recreate the object later with high quality. The first step in creating my model is to provide assets of the subject. In the Experience League tutorial, you'll find assets that you can download for the City Signal router. Once the images are uploaded, Firefly will start a process of captioning, whereby each asset will be auto-captioned. I also need to fill out the sample prompt, which needs to contain the concept, which in this case is router. All the information is now available to start training a model, which will take 20 to 30 minutes. Once the training is finished, I need to publish my model, and then I can test it using a sample prompt. As you can see, Firefly now understands what a router means for City Signal and is able to reproduce the router in a fairly accurate way. To start automating the usage of my custom model, I need to share my model with the Adobe I/O project that I created in one of the previous exercises. To do that, I need to copy the technical account email from the project and invite that technical account email to edit my custom model. Once that's done, I can shift over to Postman and use the Custom Models API endpoint. I first need to ask Firefly to provide me with the details of the custom models that are available to my Adobe I/O project, after which I'm seeing the custom model that I just created being returned. The next step is to send a generate image request, similar to the image generation requests I was sending earlier, but in this case, the model being used is the custom model that I created. This image generation request is also an asynchronous request, so I need to verify the status report until it's successful, which may take a couple of minutes. And once the status is successful, I can click to open my image, and here we go, a beautiful image of a City Signal router on a colorful background has now been created.